Hey guys, Mal here, and today we're taking a look at the Hideout system in Escape from Tarkov. The Hideout is one of the newest additions to EFT, and I feel like people are underestimating just how important it is. This place controls your out-of-raid health, water and energy recovery, allows you to craft all kinds of things like industrial items, medical supplies, guns and ammo, has scavs that will go and get stuff for you, including random quest items, lets you easily and quickly test out guns, significantly boosts a bunch of stat gains, and generates passive income. In other words, it does a hell of a lot for you. Now first up, if you hit enter up the top, you can enter your hideout and walk around. Yours probably doesn't look quite as fancy as this just yet. This is a fully upgraded hideout. Literally everything is unlocked, and I've even got the 50 graphics cards in the Bitcoin farm. I have been extremely busy with making this happen. While you can walk around in it, things are much faster if you hit escape and jump back to the overview like this. Let's run through what everything here does. Timestamps are in the description if you're looking to learn about a specific part of the hideout. The air filtering unit is a one-off endgame purchase. You need 10k USD to unlock this. I know that's a big price tag. That being said, once it's up and running with the filter, it gives your entire physical section of skills a 40% leveling boost. That's a massive boost, especially considering some of the physical skills are a pain in the ass to level. I wouldn't run it all the time, but if you know you're settling in for a good EFT session, then it's totally worth throwing a filter into it. This thing is the best thing. Just the actual best thing in your entire hideout. It requires an immense cost of 50 graphics cards to run at its full potential, which is roughly 10 or 11 million rubles to buy from the flea, and that's not even including all the stuff to build and upgrade it. However, when it's fully done, this thing fires out a Bitcoin every 5 hours. It can stack 3, so every day this thing will give you 3 to 4 Bitcoins, and you don't have to burn materials to make them. Passive income. Worth every ruble. At first I scoffed at this and thought, what do I need it for? I don't need booze in Tarkov. Then I realized that 1 purified water and 2 sugar make a moonshine in this thing. So if you've got the stash space, save any water purifying filters you find. Hold on to them because they turn into pure profit later. Same goes for any sugar you find. There are 2 reasons that people want moonshine. The first is for trades, which are worth looking into. The second is for the SCAF Case, which we will cover a little bit later. The generator powers your hideout. It is also an integral part to unlocking other parts or levels of your hideout. Few things to note. You can still upgrade and craft most things with the power off. You'll need it on to start the craft, but after that you can turn it off. The craft will take significantly longer if your power is off. Initially and while trying to conserve fuel early game, this is totally fine. Once you have Jaeger level 2, just buy the big cans, fill it up, and leave it on. Heating increases your energy regen rate, and at level 3 it has an additional bonus of increasing the negative effects removal rate by 50%, so any wounds and such you take in-game can heal 50% faster. This can be a massive help if you've recently patched up a leg but need to run sooner rather than later. Sadly, the lighting doesn't give you any stat or other bonuses, aside from the obvious one of lighting your hideout. However, no part of the hideout can be ignored, because it all intertwines later, so get it upgraded when you can. The Intelligence Center is another key component to the hideout, which will need to be upgraded sooner rather than later to get to some of the good stuff. It reduces your scav cooldown time, boosts the money rewards from quests, reduces your insurance return time, and at max level cuts the fees on the flea market by 30%. This is an essential, particularly that last bit, because when you start selling rare items on the flea, the fees really start to stack up. Now you'd expect a toilet to be pretty lackluster, right? Like the lights, I guess? Nope. This thing is so helpful, particularly in early wipe when everyone desperately needs a ton of corrugated hose. Because, you know, you make them on the toilet. You can make other useful stuff too, including magazine boxes and filters for your air filter unit. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, however I'm glad we can craft this stuff, so I'm just gonna let this slide. The library is ridiculously cheap for what it is. You get a 15% additional XP buff, and your practical group of skills gets a 30% buff. Given the cost and the fact that you don't have to feed it any materials, this is a no-brainer. Get this. The med station has a buff to your health regen that gets pretty noticeable at the higher levels. You can also use this station to craft meds. Going into fights prepared with the proper meds can be the difference between living or dying. The nutrition unit boosts your health, water, and energy passively. It also has some things you can craft. The Wilston cigarettes are particularly handy for the cigarettes quest. These should be found in raid when you craft them, making the worst part of that quest quite bearable. It can also produce vodka and aquamarine, which are both selling reasonably well. Also sugar, which is needed for your moonshine. You always want to try and save things you need and produce these mats yourself. You will profit so much more from it rather than buying them all off the flea. The rest space boosts your health and energy regen. Additionally, it increases your negative effects removal rate by 10%. On its final level, you get an additional buff which gives you an extra 10 energy on your energy bar. Even though 10 may seem small, it is crazy how helpful having it is in raids. I was skeptical at first when it came to the SCAF Case. I understood what it did, and I know that it's essentially just a gambling mechanic because you're throwing money or moonshine at the SCAF Case and hoping it gives you awesome things in return based on RNG mechanics. Since I unlocked it, I've been solidly feeding it moonshine and recording each of the loot windows I've gotten from it. This is all of the loot. Each window represents one bottle of moonshine, which go for 220 to 280k rubles on the flea. Decide for yourself whether you think this or the lower tiers of this are a worthwhile investment. Personally, I'm going to keep throwing moonshine at it just to see what comes out of it. Security is just another paywall to unlocking other things. It does nothing aside from adding another step to unlocking awesome things. The shooting range is amazing. There is no better way to describe it. Previously, if you wanted to test out guns you were modding, you'd have to jump into an offline match to test it out, and it was all a big hassle. Now instead of that, you just grab it, walk over to your shooting range, and blast away. It doesn't use ammo or anything, and you can see if your gun is going to work for you or if you need to modify things. This has definitely made me much more interested in modding weapons. I was a little disappointed with the solar panels. I was hoping that they would remove the need for fuel, as they are an endgame item weighing in at a whopping 15,000 euros to build. It reduces the fuel consumption by 50%. That doubles your power time, which is really nice. Your best bet for unlocking this is to save the euros you get from the Gunsmith series. Failing that, you can buy the euros from Skier, however it's going to cost about 2 million rubles. The stash is pretty much the most important thing in your hideout. The more space you have in there, the more you can hoard rare items for quests and such. It makes progressing through the wipe much nicer and faster. I can't say much for myself though, as I've had the EOD edition of the game for a long time now. See, the better version of the game that you have, the bigger default space you get in your stash. So because I have the EOD edition, I automatically get a level 4 stash from the very start of wipe. I'd say everyone should always start playing EFT on the standard version to experience the difference, and then put in the extra cash to upgrade if they're enjoying the game. Otherwise, prepare yourself for one hell of a farm to upgrade your stash along the way. Here are the costs to going to each of the levels in game. The best of luck because, oh wow, are you going to need it. Another no bonus paywall that is required to progress for a lot of things. They really should add some sort of functionality to these things, even if it's just a bit of energy regen. The water collector is awesome. It buffs the crap out of your water regen as you level it up, and then at max level you can start producing the purified water, which will be used for your moonshine. Save all water filters you find for this thing. You want it to be producing purified water as often as possible once you have it unlocked. The workbench is your one-stop shop for guns, ammo, and things that go bang. As you level it up, you gain access to more and more crafts, including top-tier ammunition and some profitable weapon crafts. This can really start to save you some money if you do a few farming runs for the materials for it. There you have it. That is the hideout in Escape from Tarkov. If you have any questions, leave me a comment and I'll do my best to answer it. Rest assured that it's not as daunting as it initially seems. Once you start unlocking things and making your way through some of it, things start to make more sense. Also, if you're looking for an Aussie Tarkov community, get involved in my Discord. We usually have people on and playing every day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.